6:45. This is a Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Danushka Madhavala, read by Soundi Thavam. The COVID vaccination will be carried out covering the entire island today. The 8th Bursa Malaysia program will be held today in Monaragala, Thanamalvilla. Sri Lanka surpasses 300 COVID-19 deaths. A special traffic plan has been devised in view of the 73rd National Independence Day celebrations on the 4th of February. The Sri Lanka Air Force requests the general public not to fly kites and drones in the Colombo area from today. The Education Minister said that they hope to open the Western Province schools to all other grades before February 15th. In world news, the Black Lives Matter Foundation wins Swedish Human Rights Prize. Sri Lanka will continue the COVID vaccination covering the entire island today. Initially, it will be carried out for the healthcare workers and military personnel. A total of 5,286 frontline healthcare workers have received the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine on the first day of the coronavirus vaccination drive, which kicked off in Sri Lanka yesterday. Approximately 1,886 persons were administered the vaccine at the National Hospital of Sri Lanka, 803 persons at the Colombo North Teaching Hospital, 781 at the Colombo South Teaching Hospital, 600 at the Army Hospital, and 400 at the Army Camp Panagoda. Another 382 were vaccinated at the Lady Ritchie Hospital for Children, 190 at the Homagama Base Hospital, 108 at the Mulleriava Base Hospital, 80 at the IDH, and 56 at the Valisara Navy Camp. The Epidemiology Unit, Ministry of Health, stated that health staff and other frontline workers in COVID-19 prevention activities attended the immunization program very enthusiastically. It said that no side effects were reported. The inoculation of the AstraZeneca Covishield vaccine to naval personnel got underway after the doses allocated to the Navy were brought to the Navy General Hospital Valisara from the Ministry of Health. Going in line with the government's immunization program against COVID-19, yesterday's inoculation drive symbolized vaccination of Sri Lanka Navy's healthcare workers, naval personnel working on the front line against COVID-19 preventive operations, and those who are engaged in security duties and susceptible to the pandemic. Incidentally, those naval personnel will be administered the vaccination through 10,000 jabs on a priority basis in due course. Under President Gotabaya Rajapaksa's Saubhagya Dakma policy manifesto, the 8th Bursa program will be held today in Monaragala, Thanamalvilla. It will be held near the Kukulkatua tank in Alutwava. Several ministers and state officials will take part in this program. Sri Lanka surpasses 300 COVID-19 deaths. The Director General of Health Services confirmed 8 more COVID-19 related deaths in the country, increasing the death toll due to the virus to 305. The Government Information Department said that another 859 persons have tested positive for COVID-19 yesterday. This brings the total number of coronavirus cases from the Minuwangoda, Paliagoda and prison clusters to 58,489. The tally of COVID-19 cases reported within the country so far has risen to 62,445, while the number of total recoveries has climbed to 55,398. Presently, a total of 6,742 infected patients are being treated in hospitals. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. A special traffic plan has been devised in view of the 73rd National Independence Day celebrations on the 4th of February. Accordingly, vehicular movement will be restricted around Independence Square in Colombo and nearby areas. Rehearsals for Independence Day are set to take place for 5 days from today to the 3rd of February. During this period, the special traffic plan will be effective from 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Meanwhile, the vehicular movement will be limited near Independence Square from 4 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. on Independence Day. The Air Force requests the general public not to fly kites and drones in the Colombo area from today until the 4th of next month. Helicopters and jets will be flying at low altitude due to the rehearsals for the National Day celebrations. The Air Force says that it is dangerous if a kite or a drone hits an aircraft. A new treatment building complex affiliated to the National Dangerous Drugs Control Board at Diganthe Treatment and Rehabilitation Premises was opened yesterday under the patronage of Defence Secretary General Kamal Gunaratne. It has been built with a donation from the chief incumbent of the Attanagala Rajamahaviharya, the Venerable Dr. Pannila Anandathera. The technical and labour contribution has been provided by the Sri Lanka Navy for the newly constructed building. It is a part of the Treatment and Rehabilitation Centre at Nittamba Urapola under the National Dangerous Drugs Control Board, which will provide residential treatment facilities for 1,000 patients. That's local news.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Veda Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
The Minister of Education, Professor G.L. Peiris, yesterday said that they hope to open the Western Province schools to all other grades before February 15th under full health safety measures. The Minister of Education said schools in the Western Province are now open for students who are scheduled to sit for the GCE Ordinary Level Examination in March, and the possibility of opening schools in the Western Province before February 15th for other grades in accordance with all health guidelines will be explored. The Minister made these observations yesterday, addressing the media after visiting several schools in Colombo, including Devi Balika Vidyalaya and Nalanda College, to seek information from principals, teachers and children on the academic performance of each school, the success of the online study methodology, health arrangements, amongst others, and came to you in the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya. Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
Moving on to Watchlight, police media spokesperson DIG Ajit Rohana yesterday said strict legal measures will be taken against a person who has brought pet birds into the country without following proper animal quarantine regulations. According to the DIG, the said person has brought in 62 domesticated birds into the country from Doha, Qatar on January 7, 2021. DIG Ajit Rohana pointed out that any animal brought into the country should undergo a quarantine process. The said pet birds were brought in under a name registered as a company in Borlaskamwa. The person who got the birds down has kept around 40 birds in quarantine, while he has taken 24 birds into the country without being quarantined. That came to you in Watchlight. World News up next.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always. All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
In World News headlines, coronavirus, the EU confirms new vaccine export controls. COVID-19, France closes borders to most non-EU travel. And the Black Lives Matter Foundation wins Swedish Human Rights Prize. The European Union has confirmed it is introducing export controls on coronavirus vaccines made in the bloc amid a row about delivery shortfalls. The so-called transparency mechanism gives EU countries powers to deny authorization for vaccine exports if the company making them hasn't honoured existing contracts with the EU. The protection and safety of our citizens is a priority, and the challenges we now face left us with no choice but to act, the European Commission said. The controls will affect some 100 countries worldwide, including the UK, the US, Canada and Australia, but many others, including poorer nations, are exempt. French Prime Minister Jean Castex has announced new tough COVID-19 border restrictions, but has again resisted imposing a new nationwide lockdown. From Sunday, all but essential travel from outside of the EU will be banned. Testing requirements from inside the EU will also be tightened. Mr. Castex said the police would increase their enforcement of an evening curfew and other rules already in place. Infections remain high in France despite recent rule tightening. The Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation has won Sweden's Olof Palme Human Rights Prize for 2020. Organisers said the movement was honoured for promoting peaceful civil disobedience amongst police brutality and racial violence across the globe. They noted that about 20 million people had taken part in the Black Lives Matter protests in the US alone, along with millions more around the world. An online prize-giving ceremony is due to take place in Stockholm today. Back to the headlines of this bulletin of world news. Coronavirus, the EU confirms new vaccine export controls. COVID-19, France closes borders to most non-EU travel. And the Black Lives Matter Foundation wins Swedish Human Rights Prize. That concludes this bulletin of world news.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always. All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Moving on to development news, State Minister for Money and Capital Market and State Enterprise Reforms Ajith Niwad Cabral said the Sri Lankan Port Authority will form a new company to administer the East Container Terminal, which will be developed as a transshipment hub. The SLPA will keep 51% stake, while Adani Group India, along with a Japanese company, will retain the balance 49% and will be stakeholders in the proposed new company. He said at a special press conference on Tuesday. He said that Adani Group from India would be a key player in this. The ECT terminal would have around 70% transshipment business to India through them. Japan will invest in the technology aspect, and that came to you in development news. Looking at sports, up to 30,000 fans a day will be allowed to attend the Australian Open, Victoria's Minister for Sport has announced. A daily crowd capacity of 30,000 will be permitted for the first 8 days of the tournament, split equally between the day and night sessions. It will then be reduced to 25,000 from the quarterfinals, half the average attendance of previous years. The Australia Open runs from 8th to 21st February in Melbourne and came to you in sports news.
Contributory deposit of ₹1,000 from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
Ford is to start building its iconic Mustang cars in China for the first time. The US carmaker said its Mustang Mach-E will start being produced there later this year as it looks to tap into China's electric vehicle EV market. Earlier this month, Tesla started delivering its Model Y to Chinese customers from its Shanghai factory. Western brands are aggressively targeting China, where EV sales are expected to grow strongly. Volkswagen said it would soon begin delivering vehicles produced at 2 newly built Chinese factories dedicated to electric cars. China is the world's biggest car market, with more than 20 million vehicles sold each year. That's business news. We look at economic news next.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
Contributory deposit of ₹1,000 from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Economic News, courtesy of...
Hello, Puta. Did you land already?
We're in transit and our flight got delayed.
How is Shani? Poor thing with her pregnancy.
Calm down, everything is sorted. Why, I have my LOLC World Card with me. We are at the VIP lounge.
LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
The shares of Malaysia's top glove surged almost 8% on Friday as retail investors in Asia drew inspiration from the GameStop trading frenzy. A new Reddit forum called Bursa Bets has been set up, describing itself as the Malaysian version of Wall Street Bets. The Wall Street Bets forum fueled the GameStop share price surge this week. Top Glove is the world's largest producer of latex gloves, but has been hit by a COVID-19 outbreak at its factories and labour abuse allegations. It's unclear what effect the Bursa Bets forum will have because share trading is more regulated in Malaysia than in the US. The National Stock Exchange is called Bursa Malaysia. And that's economic news.
Congratulations on your promotion. When will be our treat, huh?
How about today?
Oh no, I was just joking.
It's fine. I have my LOLC credit card with me. Let's go out today.
Introducing LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
The weather report to conclude, showers will occur at times in the northern, north central, eastern and Uva provinces and in the Matale and Nuwara districts. Fairly heavy falls above 75 millimetres can be expected at some places in the eastern province and in the Polonnaruwa, Matale and Mullaitivu districts. Showers or thundershowers will occur at several places in the western and Sabaragamuwa provinces and in the Gaul, Matara and Kandy districts after 2 p.m. Fairly heavy falls above 50 millimetres can be expected at some places. To conclude this bulletin of news, a recap of the headlines. The COVID vaccination will be carried out covering the entire island today. The 8th Gama Samaga Pilisandra program will be held today in Monoragala, Thanamalvilla. Sri Lanka surpasses 300 COVID-19 deaths. A special traffic plan has been devised in view of the 73rd National Independence Day celebrations on the 4th of February. The Sri Lanka Air Force requests the general public not to fly kites and drones in the Colombo area from today. The Education Minister said that they hope to open the Western Province schools to all other grades before February 15th. And the Black Lives Matter Foundation wins Swedish Human Rights Prize.